Listen up, Falcons Nation. I just got back from IBM Performance Field, and let me tell you, what I witnessed today is going to blow your minds. You know when you can feel something special is brewing? When the very air seems charged with electricity? Well, buckle up, because what's happening in Flowery Branch right now is about to change everything we thought we knew about this 2025 season. First of all, and I won't even hide the headline here because this is too important, there's a battle happening right now that nobody saw coming. A showdown so intense, so unexpected, that even the coaching staff is holding their breath. We're talking about a position that's been rock solid for years, and suddenly, boom! Competition like you've never seen before. And before I reveal all the explosive details I witnessed today, stop everything right now. If you're a true Falcons fan, if your heart beats red and black, you cannot miss a single second of what's coming next. Hit that powerful like, subscribe to the channel, and smash that notification bell now. Only 1% of viewers are subscribed. Let's dominate those stats together. This is your chance to be part of the Falcons Nation elite who gets all the breaking news first. Let's go, #Rise Up. You think you know this Atlanta Falcons team? You think you've got this season figured out? Think again. What's happening at the training facility right now is unlike anything we've seen in years. The energy is electric, but there's something else, something dangerous lurking beneath the surface. I'm talking about a shift so massive that it's got players questioning their roles, coaches reconsidering their game plans, and front office executives having late-night conversations about moves that seemed impossible just weeks ago. The atmosphere at camp isn't just competitive anymore, it's volcanic. Every practice is a battle, every rep matters, and every decision by the coaching staff is being scrutinized like never before. Why? Because what I'm about to tell you has created a domino effect that's reaching every corner of this organization. Here's where things get crazy. Remember that player I mentioned who's been flying under the radar? Well, buckle up, because this story is about to blow your mind. We're talking about someone who was barely on anyone's fantasy draft boards, someone who most analysts wrote off as a developmental prospect. But in the last week, this player has been absolutely destroying veteran competition and making plays that have coaches pulling out their hair trying to figure out where to put him in the game plan. I'm talking about performances so dominant that they're forcing the coaching staff to completely reimagine their offensive and defensive schemes. We're seeing packages being drawn up specifically to maximize this player's unique skill set. Veterans who thought their jobs were secure are now looking over their shoulders because this mystery player is making it impossible to ignore his impact. But here's where it gets insane. The coaches aren't just impressed, they're shocked. One assistant coach was overheard saying, "We knew he had potential, but this is game-changing stuff." And when I say game-changing, I mean we're talking about a player who could single-handedly alter the team's identity this season. The craziest part? This wasn't supposed to happen. This player was supposed to be a project, someone who would maybe contribute in year 2 or 3. Instead, he's forcing immediate conversations about starting roles and featured packages. The ripple effects are enormous. And if you think that's shocking, wait until you hear about the veterans' reaction to all this. It's coming up next, and it'll blow your mind. Now, let's talk about that position battle I mentioned, and folks, this isn't your typical training camp competition. This is war. What started as a friendly competition between teammates has evolved into something so intense that it's creating fault lines throughout the entire roster. The battles are so fierce that practices are ending with heated exchanges. Players are staying after official practice time, working with trainers, studying film until midnight, and doing everything possible to gain even the slightest edge. The competition has reached a level where nobody is safe. But here's the kicker: this battle isn't just affecting the players directly involved. It's creating a chain reaction that's impacting every position group. Why? Because the intensity and work ethic being displayed is raising the bar for everyone. Veterans who've been coasting are suddenly being called out by younger players who are outworking them. The coaching staff is both thrilled and terrified. Thrilled because the level of competition is unprecedented, but terrified because they're going to have to make some brutal decisions that will leave extremely talented players disappointed. We're talking about cuts and roster moves that nobody saw coming just a month ago. But here's where it gets even more interesting, and you're going to want to hear this next part. Speaking of unexpected developments, let's dive into the leadership dynamics that are completely reshaping this team's identity. What's happening in the locker room right now is unprecedented. Traditional team leaders are finding their authority challenged not through disrespect, but through pure performance. Younger players are stepping up in ways that are forcing veterans to elevate their games or risk being left behind. The hierarchy that everyone thought was established is being demolished by merit and results. I'm hearing stories of team meetings where young players are speaking up with ideas and strategies that are getting implemented immediately. The old rookie, shut up and listen mentality? Gone! This coaching staff is embracing input from everyone, and it's creating a dynamic that's both exciting and volatile. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some veterans are loving this new energy and using it to rediscover their own passion for the game. Others? Well, let's just say not everyone is handling the changing landscape gracefully. The contrast is creating some fascinating storylines that will play out throughout the season. Speaking of storylines, what I'm about to tell you next will completely change how you view this team's championship potential. Now, let me blow your mind with what's happening on the strategic side of things. The coaching staff isn't just tweaking plays, they're completely revolutionizing their approach based on what they're seeing from these emerging talents. We're talking about offensive packages that look nothing like what they ran last season. Defensive alignments that are designed specifically to maximize the unique skills of players who weren't even supposed to be major contributors. The entire playbook is being rewritten in real time. But here's the crazy part, it's working. In scrimmages, these new schemes are creating explosive plays and defensive chaos that has everyone taking notice. The team is discovering an identity that nobody predicted, and it's happening organically based on the personnel that's emerging through competition. The implications are massive. We could be looking at a team that surprises everyone not just with their talent, but with their completely unique approach to the game. Other teams are going to have zero tape on some of these packages and concepts. How are the established veterans handling this youth movement and scheme revolution? The responses are all over the map, and some of them are absolutely fascinating. Some veterans are embracing their role as mentors and using their experience to help guide these emerging talents. They're finding new purpose in leadership rather than just individual performance. It's beautiful to watch these relationships develop. But others? They're feeling the pressure and responding by elevating their own games to levels we haven't seen in years. The competition is bringing out the best in players who some people thought might be declining. We're seeing career resurgences that nobody predicted. And then there's the third group, veterans who are struggling to adapt to the new reality. They're not bad players, but they're having trouble adjusting to a culture where nothing is guaranteed and every rep matters. These are the situations that will likely lead to some surprising roster moves. Behind all of this chaos and competition is a coaching staff that's orchestrating one of the most sophisticated talent evaluation processes I've ever witnessed. What looks like madness from the outside is actually a carefully calculated plan to identify exactly who belongs on this team. The coaches are creating high-pressure situations specifically designed to see how players respond under stress. They're putting players in uncomfortable positions to test their adaptability. They're creating competition at every position to ensure that nobody gets complacent. But here's the genius part, they're also identifying players who thrive in chaos versus those who need structure. This information is being used to create specific roles and packages that maximize each player's strengths while minimizing their weaknesses. The result? A roster that's being built not just on talent, but on psychological makeup and situational performance. We're looking at a team that could be incredibly difficult to game plan against because they'll have players who excel in specific situations. And wait until you hear what this means for their playoff chances. Keep watching. And now, for that third bombshell I promised, the decision that could redefine this franchise for years to come. Without giving away all the details, because this story is still developing, I can tell you that there's a move being considered that would shock the entire NFL. We're talking about a decision that would require incredible courage from the coaching staff and front office, but could also catapult this team into championship contention. This isn't about trades or free agency, this is about how they're going to utilize the talent that's emerged through this competitive process. The early indications suggest they're prepared to make moves that prioritize performance over reputation, youth over experience, and potential over past accomplishments. Falcons Nation, What I've shared with you today is just the beginning. The stories emerging from this training camp are going to define not just this season, but potentially the next era of Atlanta Falcons football. The competition isn't slowing down, if anything, it's intensifying as we get closer to the regular season. Every practice is revealing new storylines, new heroes, and new questions about what this team can accomplish. Stay tuned, because the revelations coming out of camp are far from over. What we're witnessing is potentially the birth of something special in Atlanta, and you don't want to miss a single development.